7 silent habits that command respect without saying a word. Respect is rarely lost in one loud argument. It leaks away quietly, almost unnoticed, in the moments where you speak when you should have stayed silent, or explain yourself when no explanation was owed. We live in a world that confuses volume with power. We are taught that to command a room, we must fill it with words. But true authority is quiet. It does not beg for attention. It draws it in naturally, like gravity. Today, we are looking at 7 silent habits that command respect. These are not manipulation tactics. They are psychological and Stoic principles applied to nonverbal behavior. They change how others perceive you, but more importantly, they change how you perceive yourself. This is Quiet Grind Daily, where self-improvers reset. Let's begin. Habit 1. The sovereign pause. Most people are terrified of silence. When a question is asked or an accusation is made, the urge to respond immediately is overwhelming. Neuroscience helps explain why this happens. The emotional centers of the brain activate, perceiving silence as a threat, a void that must be filled to maintain connection or safety. But here is what most people never realize: immediate reaction signals, submission. It shows that the external world controls your internal timing. The first habit is the sovereign pause. The Stoics understood that between the stimulus and the response, there is a space. In that space lies your freedom. When you are spoken to, especially in a high-stakes situation, do not answer immediately. Take a breath. Let the silence hang for 2 or 3 seconds. This does 2 things. First, it allows your rational mind to catch up with your emotional impulses. You often notice the change in your body before you name it mentally, the tightening of the chest, the urge to defend. The pause lets that pass. Second, it signals to the other person that you are comfortable in the void. You are not rushing to please. You are considering your words because your words have value. Habit 2. The art of under-explaining. This is perhaps the hardest habit to build, but the most powerful. When we feel insecure, we tend to over-explain. We offer 3 reasons when one would suffice. We apologize for things that require no apology. Epictetus advised, be silent for the most part, or, if you speak, say only what is necessary and in a few words. The psychological principle here is scarcity. When you offer too much information, you dilute the value of your core message. You also provide more surface area for others to attack or critique. The habit to build is the unexplained no, or the simple statement. If you cannot commit to a request, simply say, I cannot commit to that right now. Stop there. Resist the urge to add, because I am so busy and my schedule is crazy. That extra noise is where your authority leaks out. It sounds like you are asking for permission to have boundaries. Quiet authority sets the boundary and lets it stand. It feels uncomfortable at first, but that discomfort is just the feeling of your own power growing. Habit 3. Eliminating the micro-leak. You might be saying the right things, but your body is telling a different story. Anxiety leaks out through the extremities: the tapping foot, the touching of the face, the constant shifting in the chair. These are micro-leaks. They signal that your internal state is not settled. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, once said, better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. The principle is the same for the body. Better to be still than to move without purpose. The habit here is intentional stillness. This is not about being rigid or robotic. It is about resting in your own frame. When you are in a meeting or a difficult conversation, plant your feet firmly on the floor. Keep your hands relaxed. If you move to change position, then settle again. Neuroscience shows that this works in reverse too. By stilling the body, you actually calm the mind. It is a feedback loop. When you stop the physical fidgeting, the mental browser tabs begin to close. You become a rock in a stream. The water moves around you, but you remain fixed. Habit 4. The anchored gaze. There is a difference between staring and holding a gaze. Staring is aggressive. It tries to dominate. Avoiding eye contact is submissive. It tries to hide. The anchored gaze is neutral. It is steady. It says, I see you, and I am not afraid to be seen. When someone is speaking to you, look at them. Do not scan the room for an escape route. When you are speaking, maintain that contact. This triggers a primitive response in others. It signals high status and high confidence. But here is where it matters most. When you are challenged. If someone questions you or raises their voice, the instinct is often to look down or look away to break the tension. Do not. Maintain the anchor. Soften the muscles around your eyes so you don't look angry, just present. This silence of the eyes is often louder than any shout. It shows you are emotionally unshakable. You are grounded in your own reality, not swept up in theirs. Habit 5. Decelerated motion. Hurry is the enemy of authority. When we rush, we signal that we are late, that we are behind, that time is our master rather than our tool. We often think that moving fast makes us look important. In reality, it makes us look out of control. Think of the most respected figures in history or even in cinema. They rarely run. They do not fumble. They move with a deliberate, measured tempo. The habit is decelerated motion. Try this experiment tomorrow. Walk 10% slower than you usually do. When you reach for your coffee, do it smoothly. When you turn your head to look at someone, do not snap your neck. Turn deliberately. This sends a powerful signal to your own nervous system that there is no emergency. It lowers cortisol. And to the outside world, it signals a person who owns their space. It says, I move at my own pace. Over time, this creates momentum without intensity. Habit 6. Silence in agreement. In social groups, there is often a rush to agree. Someone makes a point and everyone jumps in with, yes, exactly, or, I was just thinking that. We do this to signal belonging. We want to be part of the tribe. But the person who commands the most respect is often the one who listens without performing agreement. This is the habit of the silent nod. You do not need to verbalize your validation constantly. If you agree, a simple nod suffices. If you are listening, your eyes suffice. By withholding the constant stream of verbal affirmation, you make your words matter more when you finally do speak. It is the economic principle of supply and demand. If your validation is cheap and constant, it has low value. If it is rare and earned, it is prized. If this resonates, a quiet thumbs up helps this space grow. It is a small action, but it signals you are building seriously. Habit 7. The emotional firewall. The final habit is what I call the emotional firewall. The world will constantly try to provoke a reaction from you. A rude comment, a sudden crisis, a driver cutting you off. Most people are porous. The world gets in, and their emotions spill out immediately. The Stoic habit is to keep the internal storm internal. You may feel anger, you may feel fear, that is fine. You are human, but you do not have to broadcast it. When you refuse to complain, refuse to gossip, and refuse to explode, you become a safe harbor for others. People respect those who can contain their own chaos. It signals that you are the adult in the room. You have done the work to process your emotions privately so you can act publicly with clarity. These habits are not about becoming cold or distant. They are about becoming solid. When you slow down, speak less, and hold your ground, you give the people around you permission to do the same. If this helped you slow things down, even slightly, that is enough. If someone you care about is drowning in noise, feel free to share this with them. Not to fix them, just to offer perspective. This is Quiet Grind Daily, calm mind, consistent action, guided by the Quiet Guide. Come back when the world feels loud.